Hey guys, it's me, Courtney, just checking in and letting you guys know what month's market looked like compared to the year before, and just giving you guys a couple stats and some handy information. Okay, well, so firstly, I would like to discuss net unconditional sales. It wasn't looking as extreme. It was kind of on par until the very last day of the month last month. June was chaos apparently at the end of the month, and every brokerage and every lawyer's firm, because there was so many deals closing. We even had our managing brokers and people telling us, please do not schedule any more closings for that day, because it was just chaos. So basically what we were looking at about 942 sales at the end of the month last month. That was compared to last year at the same time where we had 808 deals that closed. So that's up pretty decently there. New listings, we still are nowhere near where we were last year, or the year before even for that. Currently we had 1,208 new listings that came to market. That's about 222 less than the year prior. And we only had 1,375 active listings compared to the 2,698 we had last year. That's quite a jump. So this is where we're seeing that supply and demand happening. A lot of sellers are kind of apprehensive if they do sell, where will they move to? The thing is, there are ways to work around that, and I'd love to discuss it if that's something you are thinking about, because at the moment you could get the biggest bang for your buck, I think, around. There's just such low inventory. There's so many buyers out there left, right, and center trying to find a home, and you might have the one that might be perfect for them, and who knows what you could get for it. A couple things to kind of keep in mind here, just pulling up some stats from the previous month here. The average family home in Greater Victoria was about $973,000 last month, up about $30,000 from the month before. If you're going to the core itself, we were looking at about $1,063,500 for an average home, which is up about $30,000 from the month prior. So a lot of people are shopping for homes and trying to find something that suits them and don't have quite that budget, and we're finding them heading to the West Shore. So the West Shore, we saw an increase of 5% just over the month, from 803,000 in May to 842,900 in June. So obviously the people with smaller budgets but still want that single family living feeling and energy for their home and to raise their families in and stuff, they're heading out to the West Shore a lot at the moment. So we're seeing a lot of demand there. Heading up to the peninsula side of things though, Central Saanich, Sydney, North Saanich, that area, we're looking at about $1,058,900 or $1,058,200, sorry, for the average family home. That is up about $30,000 from the month before. Condos are always an interesting one because we're looking at an increase of not too much, about 0.7 to 2.4 across the board for a condo. But just for perspective, a condo in Greater Victoria, I should say, is about 526,500 currently in this market, only up by 4,000 from the month before. But then if you're going to the West Shore again, you're looking at about an average condo being about 408,400. So again, more bang for your buck or more options depending on what your budget is. Townhouses I find are a lovely little middle ground from people who can't afford the house but kind of want to have a bit more space than a condo would generally have. So they're looking at townhouses and stuff across the board here, and we're looking in Greater Victoria for a townhouse would be about 691,900, up about 21,000 from the month before. The core itself is about 772 for a townhouse, sorry. That is up also about 30,000 from the month before. But then again, head to the West Shore and you've got properties there. So townhouses in the West Shore are selling for about 541,400 last month. That was the average price point. So obviously some higher, some lower, but that was average. And that was only up by about $11,000 from the month before. So across the board, we're seeing kind of interesting things going on. Things are still going up and up at the moment, so it's a great time to sell. Anyone who's nervous about selling and then how do they purchase at that stage, the way I like to look at it is you're doing a lateral move. So where you're making your money on your sale, you may be losing some money on your purchase. And obviously in a different market, if it was a buyer's market, you're going to be losing money on the sale, but you're going to make up for it in the purchase. These are the things that people need to just kind of consider a little bit here, because I think that we just need a little bit more people willing to bring their properties to market to kind of just give it a bit of a soften. There's so much demand, not enough properties and not enough supply. So I'm willing to chat if you wanted to just see what your options look like. But yeah, definitely a good time to consider it at least. If you have any other questions or would like to chat at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can DM me through any of my social medias. You can reach me via email at info@courtneypaige.com, COURTNAYPAIGE.com. And my phone number, alternatively, is 250-634-0002.